Have you ever asked yourself, why do I feel so drained? Why does one comment, one look, one situation ruin my entire day? What if the true battle isn't out there but in here? Welcome to a journey of reclaiming your inner power, where you'll learn how to stop giving the world control over your peace of mind. If you're serious about self-mastery and emotional freedom, subscribe now, because this is where your transformation begins. 1. The hidden weight you're carrying. Most people wake up tired, move through the day weary, and collapse into bed without understanding why they're so exhausted. They assume it's because of the demands of work, the stress of relationships, or the responsibilities piling up at home. And while those things contribute to physical fatigue, they are often not the true source of the heavy feeling that lingers deep inside. The real culprit? Emotional baggage. This is the weight we carry silently. It's invisible but incredibly dense. It builds slowly over time, layer by layer, moment by moment, until it becomes part of us. We carry regrets from the past, anxiety about the future, and pressure to meet expectations we didn't even agree to. We walk around with the voices of others in our heads, telling us we're not enough, or that we have to be everything to everyone. We internalize criticism, guilt, shame, and fear, emotions that were never meant to stay but somehow took root. The Stoics knew this weight well. Marcus Aurelius once wrote, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." What he was pointing to was the truth that our suffering often comes not from what happens to us, but from how we cling to what happens. We don't just experience pain, we attach ourselves to it. We replay old arguments. We worry about what others think. We try to fix problems that don't belong to us. In doing so, we allow the external world to own our peace. Let's be clear, carrying emotional weight is not a sign of weakness. It's a natural result of caring, of feeling deeply, of being human. But when we never pause to examine what we're carrying, we risk becoming so burdened that we forget how to feel light again. We forget what it's like to move through life without tension in our shoulders or a knot in our stomach. So how do we begin to put down the weight? It starts with awareness. You can't release what you don't first recognize. Ask yourself, what are you holding on to that's not serving you? Are you chasing validation from someone who may never give it? Are you trying to control a situation that's already out of your hands? Are you blaming yourself for something that wasn't your fault? Then comes acceptance. This is perhaps the hardest part. We have to accept that not everything can be fixed. Not everyone will understand us. Not every wound will be validated. But that's okay. Acceptance isn't giving up. It's stepping out of the emotional battlefield and reclaiming your energy. Finally, we let go. And not just once, but again and again. Every time a painful memory resurfaces or a fear tries to control you, you practice detachment. You observe it, acknowledge it, and gently release it. As the Stoics taught, peace begins where attachment ends. Letting go is not a loss. It's a return to your center, a return to your power, a return to the present moment where life actually happens. The hidden weight you carry may not be your fault, but releasing it is your responsibility. You deserve to move freely. You deserve peace, and it starts by loosening your grip on what was never yours to carry. 2. The paradox of control. From an early age, we are taught that control is synonymous with power. Be in control of your life. Control your emotions. Take control of your destiny. This message is everywhere, in motivational speeches, self-help, books, even in the unspoken rules of society. But beneath this common wisdom lies a paradox. The more we try to control, the less control we often feel. Trying to manage every outcome, every reaction, and every person in your orbit is like trying to hold water in your hands. The tighter you grip, the faster it slips through. This obsessive pursuit of control doesn't lead to peace, it leads to anxiety. You become hyper-aware of everything that could go wrong. You brace yourself for disappointments. You overthink, overanalyze, and overcorrect. And in the end, you lose the very thing you were chasing: freedom. The Stoic philosopher Epictetus warned us of this trap. He wrote, "Some things are in our control, and others not." This simple truth is the foundation of inner peace. The only thing we truly own is our internal state, our thoughts, our choices, our reactions. Everything else, whether people like us, whether our plans work out, whether the world cooperates, is outside of our hands. So what happens when we stop trying to control the uncontrollable? We reclaim our energy. We stop wasting effort on things that don't belong to us. We learn to respond instead of react. We begin to experience a lightness that comes from letting go of battles we were never meant to fight. Real strength lies in restraint. It takes strength not to lash out when provoked. It takes strength to walk away from an argument that leads nowhere. It takes strength to surrender the illusion of control and trust the unfolding of life. This doesn't mean becoming passive or careless. It means becoming wise. It means learning to choose your battles, to focus your efforts where they can make a difference, and to let the rest flow as it will. You can't control how others see you. You can't control what the future holds. You can't control every outcome, but you can control how you show up. You can control your integrity, your effort, your mindset, and that is more than enough. When you accept this paradox, something powerful happens. You stop trying to dominate life and start dancing with it. You become grounded, not because everything is perfect, but because you're no longer at war with what is. Surrender is not weakness. It is clarity. It is the recognition that peace doesn't come from conquering the world. It comes from mastering yourself. 3. Emotional intelligence is emotional freedom. Most people misunderstand emotional intelligence. They think it means suppressing emotions or keeping a stoic face no matter what. But that couldn't be further from the truth. Emotional intelligence isn't about bottling things up. It's about understanding what you feel, why you feel it, and what to do about it. Think of a skilled navigator using the stars to sail through the night. That's what emotional intelligence is. Your emotions are not the problem. They're signals, they're guides. But only if you know how to read them. When something upsets you, it's easy to spiral. We default to, why is this happening to me? But the better question, the one that puts you back in control, is this mine to control? That one shift changes everything. If it is yours to control, you act. If it isn't, you let it pass through. This is where freedom begins, in the pause. Between stimulus and response is a space, and in that space lies your power. It's in that moment that you choose your path. Will you act out of impulse, or will you act out of wisdom? Emotional intelligence gives you that space. It teaches you to recognize the story you're telling yourself, to notice your body's signals, to identify your triggers. You learn that anger might be masking hurt, that fear might be pointing to growth, that sadness might be a call for rest. With emotional intelligence, you stop being ruled by your emotions. You begin to collaborate with them. This isn't always easy. It takes practice. It takes honesty. It takes the courage to sit with discomfort without turning away. But over time, your emotional awareness becomes your superpower. You stop being a victim of your moods. You become the master of your inner world. You also become more compassionate toward others, because you see their pain for what it is, not as a threat, but as a mirror. You stop taking things so personally. You learn to respond with patience rather than judgment. Resilience isn't about never feeling, it's about feeling deeply and still choosing your response. It's about bending without breaking. It's about standing still in the storm, knowing that the storm is not who you are. Emotional intelligence is not a trait, it's a discipline. And like any discipline, it must be cultivated daily. With it, you gain the one thing everyone craves: freedom. Not freedom from pain or difficulty, but freedom from being owned by it. In the end, your emotions are not your enemy. They are your allies, and with intelligence, awareness, and courage, you can turn your inner world into your greatest source of strength. 4. Building an inner fortress. You don't need to be cold. You need to be anchored. There is a misconception that emotional strength requires becoming numb or indifferent to life. But true inner strength isn't about freezing your heart. It's about grounding it. It's not about shutting the world out, but rather becoming so rooted in your principles and values that nothing outside of you can shake your foundation. Mental strength isn't loud. It's quiet, steady, and unshakable. Real power doesn't need to announce itself. It doesn't panic, doesn't flinch in the face of pressure, and doesn't seek validation. It moves with quiet confidence, choosing responses rather than reacting impulsively. In a world that glorifies constant expression and emotional outbursts, the calm individual becomes a fortress. They don't rely on external approval because their foundation is built internally, brick by brick, habit by habit. Think of a fortress. Not flashy but formidable, a structure that doesn't bend to every gust of wind. That's what you're building within yourself, a refuge that you can return to when the world becomes too noisy, too chaotic, too demanding. It's not about hiding from life's storms, it's about being ready for them. Your job isn't to control the waves, but to build a ship that sails through any storm. Life will never be predictable. People will gossip, criticism will come, plans will fall apart, emotions will rise, the weather will change, both externally and internally. And yet, your responsibility is not to manage every wave, but to become the kind of person who can withstand them. To do that, you need discipline. Not the rigid kind, but a mental discipline that acts like a filter for your thoughts. Every day, thousands of thoughts float into your mind. Some are useful, many are not. Mental strength doesn't mean suppressing them, it means curating them. It's being aware enough to say, "This thought doesn't serve me," and letting it pass. It's recognizing when fear is distorting your vision or when anger is hijacking your peace, and choosing not to give those emotions the wheel. You're not trying to build a wall around your heart. You're building an internal compass, a fortress with open windows and locked doors where light can come in but danger is kept out. That's emotional sovereignty. Emotional sovereignty means owning your mind. It means you decide what narratives play on repeat. You choose which stories deserve your attention. It's not about denying your emotions, but about directing them. You are the architect of your mental landscape. And every time you choose calm over chaos, clarity over confusion, and values over vanity, you lay another stone in your fortress. Stillness is part of the foundation. Stillness doesn't mean doing nothing. It means being centered. It's the practice of becoming the eye of the storm, the calm in the middle of life's turbulence. Stillness gives you perspective. It lets you see things clearly, without the distortion of panic or insecurity. It lets you respond with purpose rather than react from fear. The greatest warriors in history weren't just trained in combat, they were trained in restraint. They mastered themselves before they attempted to master anything else. And you must do the same. Build your inner fortress, not by rejecting the world, but by choosing how much of it you allow into your mental space. That's how you endure. That's how you remain strong, not cold, but anchored. 5. Detachment is the highest form of self-respect. Detachment isn't indifference. It's intentional clarity. To many, detachment sounds like not caring, but that's not what it is. True detachment is a form of wisdom. It's the ability to step back, see things clearly, and decide where your energy belongs. Detachment is not giving up. It's choosing your peace over pointless battles. It's knowing what deserves your energy and what doesn't. Every day, life asks for your attention. Arguments, social media debates, toxic people, unnecessary drama, and the pressure to be understood by everyone. But your energy is finite. If you try to fight every battle, prove every point, and please every person, you'll be left empty. Detachment is self-respect in action. It's you saying, "My energy is precious, my peace is non-negotiable." It's choosing silence over proving your worth. It's walking away, not because you're weak, but because you're strong enough to know that some things are not worth staying for. Sometimes the most powerful act is walking away. You don't have to attend every argument you're invited to. You don't need to respond to every slight or defend yourself against every misjudgment. There's profound strength in leaving the battlefield, especially when the war isn't worth winning. Detachment allows you to stop internalizing other people's behavior. When someone is toxic, manipulative, or disrespectful, it's a reflection of them, not you. Detachment is how you stop carrying the burden of their projections. It's how you refuse to let someone else's dysfunction disrupt your focus. Strategic. Detachment is not about withdrawing. It's about preserving your focus and protecting your peace. You don't have to become a recluse to practice detachment. You can still love people, care deeply, and stay engaged with the world, while also protecting your emotional boundaries. Strategic detachment is like setting a filter around your mind. It's you choosing what gets in. When something or someone begins to pull you away from your values, it's time to detach. When a conversation drains you, when a relationship becomes a battlefield, or when an environment stifles your growth, you're allowed to walk away. Not to escape, but to evolve. Detachment doesn't kill connection, it refines it. It tells you who's healthy to keep in your life and who's only adding noise. It helps you stay grounded in your truth, even when others demand your attention, your time, your energy. Detachment is the art of holding on without clinging, of loving without losing yourself. It's a declaration. I value myself too much to stay in chaos. Every time you detach from chaos, you affirm your self-worth. You send a message to yourself and to the world that you're not available for dysfunction. You refuse to be someone's emotional sponge. You refuse to participate in drama loops that never resolve. You choose your growth over your pride. That's not weakness, that's self-mastery. In a culture that rewards constant engagement, detachment is a radical act. But it's necessary, because peace is not passive, it must be protected. And detachment is your armor. You are not required to carry what's breaking you. You're not obligated to respond to every emotional provocation. You are free to let go, to walk away, to reserve your energy for what truly matters. In detachment, you find clarity. In clarity, you find direction. And in direction, you find freedom. The untouchable state. There's a level of peace where nothing can reach you. Not opinions, not insults, not chaos. That's not apathy. It's mastery. The untouchable state is where peace becomes your default, not a rare moment. Where your presence commands respect, not because you ask for it, but because you've earned it. If this resonated with you, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share this message with someone who's ready to reclaim their power. Because The world doesn't need more control. It needs more people who are free from needing it.